Hello, welcome to our playback for session one, creating personas. So in today's session, we learned how to boss online whiteboarding. So everyone learned to become designers with Mural. We looked at understanding a little bit about what a persona is and why it's important, and start to get a sense of what our personas could look like, what our raving fans might look like for our businesses. And we will start partway through this on, we've already done the mural training. So we're jumping straight into two, understanding about personas. Enjoy the session. Okay. Personas, you've got a team really align you. So Stefan, actually, I know without looking at him, I'll tell you Stefan's story. He's a 34-year-old tram driver from Ancoats in Manchester. So he lives in a small terrace house with his family. He's got a daughter. He's got his wife, Becky. She plays rugby, and he's got a daughter, Olivia. She's 2, and she means the world to him. Stefan's a man of, he's a working man. He works hard on the trams. He doesn't have much time between his working life and his family life. He doesn't have much time and space for him. But for him, what's really important to him is about the future for his family and his kids. And knowing that about him. So that's someone I created 3 years ago on a project. We got to know him so well on that project within that team that we then could test everything we were trying to do. Again, well, would Stefan do this? And things like he's Stefan, not Stefan. It was very important that people didn't think he was Stefan. That made a big difference to who, and you can probably hear, if you think of Stefan, that's someone who's quite different to Stefan, who's a man of the people. So personas are really powerful tools to really start to get in someone's world and really understand what motivates them, and then start to relate that to how that motivates them in relation to your product.
So Kev, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So these are personas that you created for a business purpose. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So these are different flavors of personas. So there's Maria here, is one I got off the Tony Robbins website. And one of the things here is saying some of these are real ones I've used in the past. Some are from a variety of different sources to get a sense of what a persona could be. But you don't have to go to this much detail necessarily. It's just a tool to get us to a level of understanding. We are going to jump in at this point, and we're going to do a few rounds of this. What time are we at? So we've got until, where's my clock gone? Got too many screens open. My computer won't give me a clock. So we've got 15 minutes left together. Kelly, you need to drop off at 20 past, did you say?
About 20. Yeah, I've got a meeting at 12:30, so I just want to make sure that I'm ready for it.
Okay, cool. Okay. So we get to where we go. So I think we'll do some work together initially, and then we'll do some work in pairs. There's a lot of stuff on here. Don't worry about it. Well, I'll kind of walk you through what you need to look at. So we're going to start by looking at, I'm going to do this all in the room together to get us going. So in a moment, I'll ask you to pick your own board, but I'll just show you on the fact. I'll just show you on mine. So first task is just to write down what business you're in. So I'll come back to that in a moment. That's what we've already done verbally. Just so you can mark your space and put your name on your board as well, just so we know who's on which board. And we're going to do just a very quick 5-minute exercise initially to start just getting a flavor of what type of people do we think could be our different types of personas. We're going to focus on one in this session, but often there could be 2, 3, 4 different types of people we think could be important. And we're going to choose one of those. And so I've put in a few different parameters here. So you've got this scratch pad. I'll just make sure you're all where I am. Okay, so you should be able to see on your mural this number 2 scratch pad here with the four squares on it. So each of the 4 different squares are 4 potential personas you can create. We're going to do 5 minutes, so I'd suggest doing 1, maybe 2, just a few different dimensions you want to play with. And we'll start to get a very simple sense of who they are. So it might be, for example, so if I use this as my working area, so it might be that and some of these factors will be important to different businesses. Some might not be important at all. Some are just useful for reference, just to get a flavor of who they are, to build up their story. So I think I'm working with a slightly older demographic. So I'm going to start with age. I'm going to start with someone in a corporate career, age 40 to 50. I'll put that in my number 1. I think they are in a relationship, probably in that stage in life. If I'm thinking raving fans, I'd like them to be having a good salary. So I'm going to put 50 to 80K as a starting point for salary. And then there's a little bit of a starting to make it relevant to you. And so reasons why my product or service is relevant to them. I think for me, my starting point, so this is someone in the corporate world who is unhappy with their current career. I'm going to keep that very simple for now, but they have a need that needs fulfilling. So that would be a starting point for a first persona, and I can now do that for 2, 3, and 4 and create some other personas. So that's going to be our first activity. So this is a very quick one. We spent about 5 minutes on this, and just pull in the different factors that we think might sort of start to shape a persona. Does that start to make sense? That makes sense? Any questions on that? Okay, and so if you look down below, there's a whole load of other boards. All these boards are the same. So if you want to put your name on a board so someone else knows you've grabbed it, stick what business you're in, and then start playing with your persona scratch pad. So if you use the hand tool to navigate around so you can find an empty board. I wouldn't go for the bottom 2, Janie, because they were last ones I did quickly. There might be a few things missing off them.
Where do we put our name? When you say put your name
I didn't put a place for that. Just stick a big post-it with your name on it, just so it's obvious. Just splat it on there.
Okay.
If you're unsure, unclear, got any questions, don't know what you're doing, going, are you crazy?
Tiny.
Sorry?
You know what?
My post-it is tiny.
Where are you, Jenny? Let me find you.
Top right.
My little left-hand column where I grab my post-it notes, it's black again. Do you know what I did? Why that is?
Are you able to share your screen?
Yep. If you
so Janie, if you click on your post-it, you'll get little squares in the corner, and you can just drag a corner and make it massive. You want them that size for the exercise. If you click on your one with Janie on it.
There's my screen, Kev.
Okay, and so what are you doing? What's happening?
So my left hand column where I'm supposed to grab my post-it notes and stuff, it's black. You see how it's black?
That is intriguing.
Yes, and that's what happened last time, and I got out and got back in, and then it was fine, but I don't know what I did to create that.
What browser are you using?
Chrome.
Okay. Does anyone else have that same problem? Can you use your toolbar on the left-hand side?
I mean, I was using it all along. All of a sudden, it's gone, you know?
I'll try maybe Control R, do a refresh.
Control R?
Yeah, or Command R, depending if you're, yeah, that's it.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I just had to enter it again. Okay.
It's kind of equivalent of a reboot.
Very interesting. All right, so I need to go grab myself a.
If you want to stop sharing your screen now as well, then if you're up and running.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Cool, no worries.
Hold on. Where'd I go?
If I want to write the business I'm in, do I need to put a text box in?
Yeah, stick another. Well, just do it on a post-it. Just do it roughly. Okay. Don't have to be. Doesn't have to be pristine or beautiful. We're doing it. Normally, you'd have a Sharpie and a post-it, and you'll be scribbling, and you'll be barely able to read it. So we're thinking quantity over quality here of stuff. So quick and dirty is good.
We're just doing one, correct?
Yeah, or if you want to carry on with the second one as well, if you feel it's important, there's a couple and you might want to have to choose between them, then carry on going. We'll just make sure everyone's got enough on here. So you can either create your own or drag in the ones that are already there just to make it easy for yourself. You doing okay there, Jenny?
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Hass? How are you getting on?
Yeah, good, thanks. Just wondering whether, can you pick more than one age group? So
I'd put it into a different box. So if you want to have the same thing, start to split into different, that's when you start getting different personas.
okay.
Because you can then combine the different factors and different ways to create a different persona. You might want to think about obviously the people you're currently interacting with, but you also might want to be thinking about the people you actually want to be working with. So there's a few different lenses on this. And particularly, I think, and start to, again, this is just all start. We're just playing here. We're starting to get a sense for things. So there's no getting it wrong at all. But yeah, particularly if you come on to that why is it relevant to them? Because I think some of those triggers could create a different sort of persona in particular. Why is your product or service relevant to them? That green area.
Oh.
And we're just doing this first box, first one, right? Like,
Yeah, and if you've got time, carry on, do some other ones in that. I want to carry on to do one. You can fill in all 4 boxes if you've got more time. If we have more than one persona. Just that first, just the scratch pad area.
How do we, if I've already used a bubble, like an age bubble or whatever, can I copy it to another?
Yeah, so copy and paste. So
got it. See
yeah.
it. Thanks.
You end up with new one. Yeah. How you doing, Christine? Are you up and running?
Nips, that's not what I want.
I'm actually gonna hop off the call, I think, because my kiddo went to go get food out of the cupboard and we discovered an ant infestation. So is there a possibility to get a copy of the recording?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah. Were you on the Facebook group?
No. I got invited by Kelly.
Okay, we'll find a way to get it to you then through Kelly.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you send it to me, I can send it to her.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you.
Okay, how are we doing? I've lost my Zoom, my controls for some reason. What's going on? My keyboard's died. That'll be why. Okay. Have we all got one? What is one? Anyone not got one?
By one, do you mean just the left-hand side?
Yeah, well, so okay, let me just help you out here a moment, Jenny. So in each of those boxes, in box 1, you want to put a collection of parameters that starts to define a person. So you want to get a sense of an age, a gender.
I'm sorry, I put them in different boxes.
Yeah, so put them all together. Yeah. So if you can start to think about what that reason is, or if there's several reasons, what might be that trigger? And usually the important things come out first in this process. You can spend forever doing these things and refining. Often the important stuff is the first stuff. So. Okay, as to see you're flying along there. Oh, Kelly, you're wow on number 3. Okay, have we all got? Is there anyone not got one that's a starting point for one? I'm going to take silence as a yes. We're all good to go.
Because we're all working so hard.
Good. Okay, so right, we'll time out there. What we're going to do now is I'd like you to just very quickly in 30 seconds. We'll go around and I'll just summon everyone to the board so we can see. Just introduce just roughly who this person is, because what I want to do, be listening for if you might know someone in relation to that person's business, if you might know someone like that. So what I want to do is pair us up. And the idea is that while working together, we'll co-create these together. And often you find, okay, we often do it to larger teams, but we'll do it to two people in this one. You'll find that that one of you either knows someone like that, or has a family member that's like that, or works with someone like that, and therefore can bring that knowledge and or is that person,
Or are that, yeah.
yeah, and therefore can bring that to the conversation. So be listening for, oh, I might know that person, because then that'll be a good reason to pair you up. Okay, so I will summon you over to Janie's board first, if you're okay with going first. Janie, if you just want to introduce who you are, just a quick 30 seconds. What's your person?
So do you want me to just talk about the person rather than
Just a quick 30-second intro, because we're going to go into more detail in a moment.
Okay, so my person is a 40 to 50-year-old female. She's married. She earns over 50 to 80K, and life's just got a bit stagnant. They want to get out of their comfort zone. They've been doing well for 20 years in the world of work and want to do something different and, yeah, get out of the comfort zone.
Okay, cool. And does that
more detail?
Well, I'm just thinking, is that trigger related to your product?
Yes. So what I did, my product is
what I
introduced was Adventure Retreat.
Okay, which is different to what you started with, is it? Or was I not listening?
I mentioned it. I
Okay.
did mention two things, and I said I'd do the other one, but I'm doing this one. And it's all about sort of self-growth, development, and empowerment through doing something out of your comfort zone and digging deep on a retreat.
Okay, great. Okay, so a 40 to 50-year-old woman who's married, a decent salary, life's got a bit stagnant, and she is looking to do something to get out of her comfort zone. And you're hoping that Adventure Retreats, she is going to be one of your raving fans for your Adventure Retreats. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. Got it. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to go down to the next one, which is Hass. I think let's just zoom into you.
All right. Okay. So the first one I picked was a male between 40 and 50, married in a relationship, and earning around 50 to 80K. And the main reason they'd pick our product would be because they're craving adventure and variety. So someone who's a bit more kind of outdoorsy and, kind of loves kind of, challenges, etc. So that seemed like kind of the kind of person that would be interested in this sort of product.
Okay, great. Okay, and your second?
And the second was female. She's single, between 30 and 40, career focused, but at the same time craving a community and belonging. She's looking for like-minded people through, sort of her experiences, and coffee is one way of getting into that. So I think she would be more intrigued into it.
Okay, and in your gut, which of these, if I give you a flame, which of these gets your flame as the one that you think you'd like to start with as your key raving fan?
The male, the first one.
Okay, cool. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. And so, Kelly, over to you.
I forgot to fill in my business part, but that's okay, right?
Yeah. Might want to add in later, just as a.
I will. Yeah, I will.
Yeah. No worries. Okay. Do you want to just introduce maybe your top two? Sorry?
I said I was focused on the persona.
Do you want to pick your top two out of these and down select already? Which?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll do the top two. So the first one is single with young kids, single female with young kids, 24 to 30, making maybe 20 to 40K. And the reasons why my product or service is relevant is because it's a simple, safe way to take control of their family's health, and an opportunity to create income at the same time. The second gal is just simply married, but the same situation. I mean, same everything else basically, but she's married. The reason I separate the two, when Tony was talking about your dream client, you know, or somebody was talking about it, I guess it probably wasn't Tony, I don't know. The reason that single gal with young kids, not making a ton of money, etc., calls to me is because it's who I was when I started this, and it changed my life. And so I would like to be able to, I just have a dream to, you know, I just have a passion to, I guess, to help others do the same. So, but I also struggle a lot with getting that tight, getting my dot that small, because when I look at my client base, I certainly have them in it, but I have 10,000 people.
Okay, so let's time out on the detail then. We'll come back to detail in a little bit.
Okay.
That's okay. And so you're okay, and which of yours do you think is going to be your priority one? Then you want to. So you obviously got some challenges with your current base. Which is the one you think you really want to be looking at as a raving fan here?
I guess today I'll decide, let's go with that single female. I just don't know. I don't know if that's the right angle, the right way to go, but let's go there for now.
Well, if it's not, well, no, you get a choice who your raving fans are.
I understand. Okay. I know that I have a choice who my raving fans are. I struggle because I have two different kinds of customers. I have customers who are just customers. They just use my product. And I have customers who are also building a business. And so they're two totally different, mindsets. They're different people. They're different. They're also a different percentage. So when I look at customers, 95% of my base is customers. And then it's all over the board. It's mostly women, but it's still all over the board from a, you know, married and single and age and whatever perspective.
Yeah, sure. I guess, but it's finding the ones who are going to really advocate you and be the ones who aren't just customers. They are the advocates within that pool. And look, there will be different groups of them, but it's just starting somewhere within that pool. Oh, look, assuming that is the ones, is it customers as opposed to businesses?
You know what? I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with the single moms. And I'm going to figure out a way to do it, because I guess the reason that I don't go there is because I still struggle to go, how am I going to connect with them? How am I going to make that work? Because I'm not that anymore.
Okay.
You know, so let's go there and I'll figure it out. Okay,
great. Got it. Okay. So, so we've got our four, so we've got, so just to then buddy up, we've got, and we'll do this with hands. I've got you on two screens at the moment. I've just realized I need to leave the screen on for the playback video. Otherwise that doesn't work so well. So I'll have to leave the screen share going.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm learning. So for Janie's married woman craving adventure and let get out of her comfort zone, who thinks they might know her or someone like her? So a relative, someone they work with, someone in one of their communities. You can think, yeah, I think I know that person. Any takers?
I couldn't come up with any. I've been trying to think of who I know that fits you guys' personas. Kevin, what's yours?
Well, okay, so we haven't got a yes for Janie. So Janie, I probably could come up with something perhaps yes tribe. So I can join you for that one. My one is, so what was my one? My one was a married guy in corporate world. He's got a fairly senior job and he's looking at, why the hell am I here? I think there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. How do I get away from this well-paid job into work that I want to do and get paid for it? And so that's my one. Just wanted to check in so that if I go with Janie, so Hass and Kelly, did you hear anything in your personas that you could relate to? Hass, do you know any single women?
Better off with Hass's second one than his first one.
Yeah.
But I can.
Yeah, it's always.
I can think back into my corporate life. See, it's been so long since I've been in that corporate life where I would know that guy.
it's interesting because they all kind of intertwine in some ways, and they all kind of. But when you make it personal in terms of people you know personally rather than people you know from a work life, it becomes much harder because your pool is not as maybe as wide as you would
Right.
acquaintances.
Mhm.
So we can relate from a work perspective, but from a personal perspective, sometimes not so much.
Yeah.
No, and that's perfect. It's just having a sense of who this person could be. I mean, we don't want to, the trick you don't want to do in this is make it exactly as a person that you know. You don't want to recreate a person you know. So it needs to be a type of person, but it's just having a sense of, yes, I know that type of person.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so if Kelly and Hass, if you two team up, and I'll team up with Jamie.
We'll give it a shot.
That works. Give it a shot. So next round, so I'll explain. We're going to breakouts for this. How are we doing for time? We might have to do one. Well, okay, same as do 2 rounds. So we're basically, so if you can, we're going to fill in 3, 4, and 5 here, and we'll get as far through as we can. Because I'm conscious you've got to drop off at 20 past, Kelly, 20 past, sorry. So we're going to take that same persona and fill in if we start creating, basically want to start creating a story about them. This is where we get creative. So if you think back to Stefan and his wife Becky and his daughter Olivia, and they live, I know exactly where they live, and it's in Birmingham, and that brings a certain type of person they are. Start to get quite specific. Who is this person? And Hass, you may want to guide this a little bit because you know maybe where your the people come from, perhaps if they're UK based or maybe it's global. I don't know. But so the first round is to fill in their story, hobbies, interests. So is it important how tech savvy they are? If so, get a sense of that. Are they always on Zoom calls and WhatsApp, or are they very much? I prefer in person. Some of those things might be relevant, may not be. So the idea is, so the first round is to work together to fill in that first sheet, number 3. Along that journey, give them a name. Sometimes I find it's useful to give them a name afterwards because you might think, okay, well, I don't necessarily want to be someone like me. So it might be that they're a different ethnicity. I can never say that word. Different ethnic origin to you, or so you might want to just think. Because often we do people like us, and maybe that is exactly your customer base, but maybe that's not. So and their name obviously then will relate to that a little bit as well. So fill in who they are, do that together, co-create that, and then on your own, fill in what's important to them. So what are their 2 needs, going back to the 6 needs. Maybe don't worry about the why for now. What motivates, and get at least one post in what motivates them. What scenarios or things are they doing in relation to your business? What worries them? What are their pain points? If you can fill at least one post to each in one of those, and do this bit on your own without talking about it, because this is where you get 2 different opinions, and you can start to then bring those together. That makes sense?
Yes, Kev. But the first part, is that specific to, for instance, my one, or would it be your partner's one?
Yeah, so the idea is, I was planning for this. I think if we do it quickly, we can just about get it in. We're getting slightly tight on time. The idea is you do one quick round and then you switch. Okay. So you spend maybe 2-3 minutes talking through who they are, and maybe just fill in enough of that, get a sense of who they are. They're 46, they live X, they're married, their wife's called whatever, and their name is this. Get a sense of enough of that one, and then to co-create together silently. Well, okay, well, now we know this person a little bit. What is it they're actually doing in relation to your product? Yeah, does that make sense? And then we'll switch halfway through and do the other person's. So, I mean, you can, yeah. I'm conscious with Kelly, we're dropping out, so we just need to.
We'll go ahead and do yours. That way you don't miss out.
Okay, cool. Are you?
I could work with Christine to do ours too. So.
Okay. Okay, cool. You'll know what to do by then. You'll be the teacher.
That's right.
So I'm just going to stop the share so I can get into breakout rooms. Breakout rooms. No, I want to assign manually. Okay. So we have. Okay, we've got rooms open. If you want to dive in, send a message on the chat or get in touch with me if you're stuck at all. But that makes sense. Jump into your room and we'll see you back here. We'll have probably dropped out before you get back, Kelly. So I'll catch you next time. Or we can just stay here, can't we? Even easier. Oh,
He's gone.
so
Well done, big man.
right, let's jump in.
Let's jump in. So I'm filling it out.
Okay, so talk me through it. Let me find you. You are up here. Okay. Okay. What age is she?
Oh yeah. She
Oh, that doesn't
was
work, that one.
40 to 50.
Yeah, so what age
What?
specifically? 42?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so she's a woman, 42, lives in Cheshire. Anywhere specifically in Cheshire? In a country house or in a town? Is where, what sort of?
Warrington in Cheshire, in a town.
Okay, and what sort of house? Family home, two up, two down?
2 up, 2 down.
Okay, so she's not super affluent then, is she? What did you reckon her salary was? That's not on here actually, is it?
I said 50 to 80.
No,
So
let's
maybe
get specific.
she can live in somewhere nicer, maybe.
Yeah, well, if she's closer to the 50, of course, it's quite different to 80. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Semi-detached. Lovely house with a garden. But
So some more suburban then, I guess.
there's some nice Appleton in Warrington. It's still, yeah. Yes.
Appleton, okay, Appleton, good. I like the specifics, like it. Okay, so she's got her semi. What specifically? So she's an HR for a large retail company. She's probably, I don't know, mid-60s salary. Don't know. I've not got a sense from check maybe, but
Wouldn't have a clue. Yes.
or low 60s. Maybe let's say 62 pounds.
Yep.
Okay. Has she got kids?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't get there.
What age? So she is, she's 42. So her kids are probably not
10
below.
10 and 12.
Okay. Which one? Are they both boys, both girls?
A boy and a girl.
10 boy, 12 girl. So she might have she might be wanting to do stuff around adventure with her girl as well, potentially. There could be some link throughs there to what she wants to teach her kids. Okay, cool. That certainly affects who she is.
That's cool.
Let's just quickly touch on hobbies, interests. What kind of things do you think she likes doing? Does she do much adventuring, do much outdoorsy stuff now?
She goes hiking, but she'd like to do more.
And when you say hiking, what sort of hiking? Like, are we talking 5K is a hike for her, or 50K, or 20K?
Oh, I would say 10K, 10 to 15K average.
And that probably with the kids, or is she part of a group, or so is that a family thing? Do you think more, or?
I don't know, part of a group. She has some time once a week where she does a walk with some friends. I like the way the detail you go into. This is really cool. But this is what it's all about, is getting leads from all the, yeah, this is really cool. I love the way you sit with your knees up. Sorry.
Yeah, I find that. I don't know, for some reason I just do that. What other types of things you do that's maybe not adventure-y, or maybe, and what other things are you interested in? I mean, does she like?
She likes sewing.
Okay. Is she someone
likes sewing.
Is she going out with her friends, is socializing and drinking? Is she in that kind of world, or what sort of, or is she more
no, she goes hiking with her friends. She doesn't,
yeah, okay, so not socializing.
No, she goes hiking and maybe goes for a coffee every now and then when she can, when the kids are in I don't know, a dance class or something, or a football, when the kids are busy.
Okay, so being mum is another hobby of hers, I guess, essentially. Okay.
Being mum.
Being bum. Thank you. Okay, now we've got a bit of a sense of her. What is her name?
If you double click, you can get another post-it.
Yeah, if you double tap on an empty area, you get a blank one. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, Jenny. Okay. So she's quite British then, I'm taking.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Is she quite mumsy?
Yes.
I'm gonna add that in. Well, again, it gives, and I hope that picture looks a little bit sewing and that kind of, she feels a little bit mumsy, so it gives a bit of essence of her. Okay. Actually, we'll quickly do this. Brands, where would she shop? Yeah, is she a Waitrose, Marks and Spencer's, Sainsbury's? She's not Asda.
She's probably, no, she's not Asda. She's probably God, at that, yeah, Sainsbury's, definitely Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I guess, goes to M&S.
Yeah, I think it's an occasional one, isn't it?
Oh, where'd you get that from?
I did an image search. When she goes for coffee, where would she go for coffee? To an independent? Or would she go to Costa or?
No, a local. She likes to support a local independent.
Okay. What other brands do you think she'd be into?
Other brands she'd be into. God, I can't think of what I'm trying to think of. Do you mean just anything she's interested in, therefore what she'd buy? What she's interested in?
Yeah, okay, actually let hold off on that. Let's go on to the next section. You can
What
come
about
back to
tech?
that one. But yeah, no, as in, so I mean, for example, is
Okay.
she Millie Bowden? Is she would she buy from I guess charity shops almost? I mean, just but come back to that thought. You can add that in later. So if we look at we'll do our top two needs together, and then we'll do the section below quickly. So out of the top two needs, is it for her? Is it about certainty? Is it about I think uncertainty? I hear. Yeah.
Yes.
Because she wants some.
Oh look, they're already ready.
Is that number one or number two?
I prepared my post-its. Should I get rid of them?
That's okay. No, we can put them in there. We can add the wine. I like that. What do you think might be her other need?
She wants, number one is uncertainty. Number two is growth.
Okay.
Or it could be love and connection.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about the community side of it and her going out with friends on walks.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Why did you put them in the Y section?
No, I didn't. Sorry. Well, oh, I see. I was just putting them as separate things. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure which one of those. We'll need to pick one. If you picked one now, which one would it be?
Love and connection.
I think uncertainty and growth kind of come together. Okay. So let's do the next bit separately then. So what motivates her? What things is she doing? So I guess we've already done her walking. What concerns her and what are her pain points? So if we do that separately and see what we come up with.
So what motivates me? How do I do another one? Oh, there. What motivates me? You're fast. Scenarios and tasks. What's that? Scenarios and tasks.
So
Oh,
what kind of
what
things
does
do they
your
do
question-
in relation to wanting to have more adventure in their life? What kind of things are they doing today? And it might be they're thinking about it, not necessarily doing it. How do they bring that in today? Or, yeah, or the idea of it.
Today, relationship, other service.
We've got, oh, we'll do back in a minute as well. Joy with all these things. I often spend 20 minutes on the intros, leaves little time to do.
Yes, no, true. I'm frustrated, annoyed, or upset today.
Okay, I'm just going to take us back into the main room. If you want to finish up typing.
Yeah.
End meeting call.
I'll go first.
Okay, I'll just share the
Right, where?
screen
So
again.
am I starting from the beginning?
No, so once
Am I starting from the beginning?
well from section 3.
Section 3. Okay. Can I? Okay. So section 3. I am a 42-year-old female. I work in a large retail company in HR and earn about 62k. I'm British, married, and got 2 kids, a 10-year-old boy and a 12-year-old girl. I've got a postgrad degree, and I live in Warrington, in Appleton, in Cheshire, in a semi with a garden. My hobbies are, I love going hiking with my friends. When I can get away from the family, we do sort of 10 to 15k. I enjoy sewing. Otherwise, I do a lot of, I'm a mum, and I spend a lot of time being mum. Every now and then I go for a coffee with some friends, and that's about it. Don't really go out and sort of party. I shop at Sainsbury's, as typical, very occasional M&S. And when I do meet friends for a coffee, every now and then we just go to the local coffee shop. My name is Jenny, and what's important to me? Am I doing the right thing, Kev?
Yeah, that's right. Yep, perfect.
So what's important to me? My 2 top needs are, I really want to get, I want some uncertainty in my life. Everything is very structured and very certain, and I want some uncertainty. That really means a lot to me. And so does love and connection as the second need. What motivates me? I really want to be inspiring for my kids, a real role model for my kids. And what also motivates me is making sure that I'm also being me and being a mum, not just being a mum. What concerns me? Sorry, let's go to the next one. What's related to the product or service? I really enjoy hiking with friends and looking at adventurers on social media and looking at travel magazines, and really want to be traveling and doing something more adventurous. Stalking people on Instagram. And what concerns me is that life's passed me by, and I want to do things for me, and I want to see the world. I feel like life is same old, a bit frustrated, that understandably wanting totally lovingly to do things with my kids, but really wanting to remember me and doing things for me. And what about me? Where's my life going? That's me.
Awesome. Thank you. And hello, Janie. Sorry, Jenny, isn't it? Jenny and Janie.
Jenny.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Janie. Hass, do you want to tell us about who you've created? I'll just go and find them.
Yeah. For some reason, it's not there. So what it is Kelly was typing it up because I couldn't share my screen and use that. But it doesn't seem to have saved it, but it's not a problem because...
yeah, it's on here. Yeah, if you look on the screen now, I think it's here. Looks like it's here.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
you're looking at the wrong panel.
For some reason, yeah, I can see on your screen, but not mine.
I'll summon you to where I am.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
I'm just conscious it's 26 past. Do you guys do you have a hard stop at 1/2 past, or do you want to carry on? Are you okay with carrying on a little bit past just to make sure we can close out? And
Yeah, I'm okay with
I'm
that.
good. I'm happy
Yeah.
to stay.
okay, well, we'll stay till 22 at the latest then, just to make sure we've just had a time to do this.
Okay. So yeah, so my persona's name's Neo, and he's male. His age is 30 to 45, and he works in he works in management within a corporate firm, and he lives in the suburbs, so he's a commuter into the office, or pre-COVID at least. And his origin is mixed, so a bit of European, bit of kind of like South American and African, etc. So his origin is kind of traveled, and he's university educated. I ignore the college because that was kind of the American British kind of differences.
Okay.
So he's married, and 2 kids, and a boy and a girl. And they're fairly older. One's 10 and one's 14. So he loves traveling, outdoors, adventure. He's into health and fitness. He's very competitive. He likes outdoor sports, triathlons, that sort of thing. He's also very much into eating out, socializing, and living life to the full. So the kind of things that him and his wife did before the kids came, he tries to maintain that and keep that going. He's very tech savvy, so he's on all the social media sites, and has multiple gadgets within the house. So he's very much into his outdoor brands, sports brands, and he also shops at Whole Foods. So he loves eating healthily, and kind of Whole Foods relates to him based on his lifestyle. And his top needs really are significance and growth. If I could pick 2, uncertainty seemed to rank higher, but I went with growth and significance. Then the reason why is because he's very competitive, and he's always got a desire to be better each time around. So the idea is that he's always growing and improving, and also likes to be to be significant through winning competitions or any competitive venture he takes. What motivates him is to always aim higher and always be fitter and living life to the full. So he's very much on the mindset that the older he gets, it's not going to slow him down. So the scenarios or tasks he looks for anything adventurous, anything that can complement his lifestyle. So he likes to shop around. So while he's at places like Whole Foods, he's always looking for a new brand or looking for something different. So he doesn't like to stand still as such. What concerns him is, at the back of his mind, I guess, is aging and not being able to live life to the full in 10 years' time. If he had an injury or if something, kind of came up, how would that be? And also what keeps him up at night, in a sense, is there something missing? He lives life to the full, but he might feel like there's something also missing there. And his pain points are when a brand or a product lets him down, where he's expecting a different sort of experience, and the product was mediocre, and that really kind of it makes him feel cheated because his standards are quite high.
Awesome. Okay, brilliant. Okay, beautifully built out. Would you welcome just working with him a little bit more, just to build him out further?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
Okay, so what's his specific age? So this is Neil, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how old is he in that age bracket?
I had it between 30 and 45, which was quite wide. But
yeah,
if I was to pick an age, I'd probably say he's 40.
Okay, so he's 40 years old. What company does he work for? So his management, his corporate. Management.
Yeah, so
In management of a corporation. What's the corporation?
right, so he works for a digital agency. So I'm trying to think of one. Probably, let's say Google, for instance. Yeah, he works for Google.
Okay, cool. Okay, and where? So is he London? Is he London based? Then, or do they have other locations? Okay,
Yeah,
where do you think he's living in London?
Sorry, he works in London, but he lives in Oxford.
Okay, and what kind of house does he live in? Is he so he's got a family? He's got 2 kids. Is he kind of surviving in a small house, or is he kind of quite a nice suburban home? Or
Yeah, so he's in a detached house. Maybe kind of in a smaller village within rural maybe.
okay, does anyone know any villages around Oxford that might sound about right?
Yeah.
Is Banbridge one?
Banbridge, yeah, Banbury. Is it Banbury?
Banbury, maybe up yeah, Banbury Cross. I think maybe is that what I'm thinking of. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, so he's got his detached house. He what has he got? Boys, girls, kids? Are they boys, girls? What are their names?
Boy and a girl. Yeah, so the boy is 14 and the girl's 10.
Okay, and what's her name?
It's Sarah, and the boy's name is Toby.
Okay, cool. His wife's name is
Maria.
oh, nice. Okay, I like it. Okay, what any just we'll spend a couple minutes on brands. What so we talk sports brands. What are the ones in there, do you think?
Nike. He likes Nike, and he also is it North Face?
Yeah,
outdoor brand.
yeah. So is he quite mainstream in his brands, or is he quite niche?
That's a good question, actually. I think he's mainstream, but he's very open to something that meets the same caliber of product he buys, with more of an independent feel. So he's always on the lookout to find the next up and coming brand, if you like.
Okay, so one moment. Well, actually, I guess actually to my next question, I think relates to probably actually the next panel, which you can either. I think actually the next one is kind of optional. So if you can you see on my screen here?
Yeah.
So this is one you can play with on your own if you want to go a little bit deeper. Because one of my things I was wondering is because he sounds like his kind of his thirst for competition and doing better and growth and significance. Is he the kind of person that's quite does he talk about his wins a lot?
Yes.
Okay, because he sounds really quite interesting, and I guess so. Then the next, we won't do this now, but so the next bit is okay. Well, what kind of networks does he use to share on? I mean, that older demographic obviously brings in certain types of networks and communities. Obviously, it makes a great brand advocate for you if you're kind of in sync around that space. So, and actually, so this is more of one. Say it's an optional one that you can work on your own. So to look at where they hang out, and I put a few examples on the right hand side there. I mean, for example, are they someone who actually reads newspapers? No, these are locked for some reason. Okay, I need to unlock them. Is he someone that reads newspapers, or is he very much in the digital world? And it sounds like he is. And if so, which of these, or is he on even newer networks and some of these? I mean, is he more of a Telegram person than a WhatsApp person? And just getting a little bit of that next level of essence of him. I guess he's more of an Android person than an iPhone, perhaps. So, I don't know. Yeah. And so, and this is where you can start getting really niche as well here. So, what specific blogs might he be reading? How niche is he? How into these world? How into the triathlon world, for example, is he? And are there specific people he'd be following that relate to you, that might relate to your brand, for example? And I mean, it's interesting. When I was thinking about this for mine the other day, I was mentioning about being on a Tony Robbins course. And he was like, "Well, who's Tony Robbins?" And for me, it's very obvious who Tony Robbins is, and that's not niche at all. But actually, it is quite niche still. There's a lot of people who haven't heard of him. So some of these niches aren't necessarily that small always, is what I realized when I started playing with this myself. So there's a little example on the right-hand side just starting to get quite specific on some of those niches, and maybe he isn't that niche perhaps, but start to have a think about what that might be, because with this you can start to then look at, well, where might he hang out, how might he interact, and how might I attract this kind of person, what commonality, how can I really start to get him. So there's kind of an optional activity there. I just need to I'll unlock these icons somehow, because they should be movable. And I'll just
so Kev, this is interesting actually, because I think the more it kind of almost challenges you to bring out more, because you could have a high level, so you kind of have answered maybe 5 questions about your persona, but then going that deep challenges you to then think deeper about this persona and paint. It's almost like, a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? Which is really good. But how do you know if you're on the right lines? Because sometimes you might feel like you are, but maybe you're a little bit off the mark.
So I mean, the thing is then, I mean, commonly you'd have done a lot of research coming into this point. You would have done a load of demographic. I mean, if you're a big company, you'd have done a load of demographic research. You'd looked at the big market segments, and it gives you a kind of a focus point already. The thing is, the thing that we can do is to start testing it and actually looking for where that sort of person hangs out, because kind of the next bit you can do, and you could be doing this between now and next session. I'm going to turn off the screen share now so we can actually talk to one another. The thing you can do, you can start to look at is start to either talk to those kind of people, start to get a sense of what words they use, what things. I mean, for example, when I've been researching around purpose, and actually for some people don't like the word purpose. Some people do. Some people, they have different words for it, and that's not necessarily a word that they would relate to. There's other things they would talk about that's not about purpose. So one thing you can start doing is trying to find this sort of person, if you know someone in your life, and actually have a conversation with them and just ask them some questions, but also listen to what kind of words they use, or maybe use some of the words that you want to use to describe your product, and to see if they relate to that. So there's an aspect of getting into their world and their language particularly. I mean, for example, so as I said earlier, Stefan and Stefan are 2 quite different people and would use quite different words to describe things. And I would relate to Stefan in a different way to the way I'd relate to Stefan.
Yes.
I mean, and one thing you can do is start to go on to get involved in groups that they might hang out in. So this is why finding Facebook groups, become a member, just see what the conversations are. I mean, Janie, for you, and obviously Yes Tribe is a great place where there's a certain type of conversation. Obviously, that's a community that we're in. These kind of people do exist there. What words are people using? What are they talking about? Also even maybe I've been asking questions in some of those groups to say, what does this interest you, or how? And so you can use those, if you get into those communities, you can use them as a testing ground, and also as a listening ground, just to actually, not in a weird way, but just to be kind of here just to understand people. So yeah, it's and certainly I'd welcome that if you want to see if you can find some ways of just sensing, responding a little bit, because next week we're going to go into empathy and look at what are these people are saying, are thinking, are feeling about this area. So we're going to get into their world next week. And
can I clarify something?
Yes.
When you say about this area, do you mean about
your brand, what you're offering? Oh, you've frozen, Janie.
our brand, yeah.
Yeah. So this is around what it is that you offer.
Yes, I said the same thing at the same time as you.
Yeah. And particularly around their needs. I mean, this comes back to, if you think back to the brand story piece, and what is that need, and are they even talking about that need? I mean, it's a good way of testing that as well. Are they even talking about that thing that I came up in my brand story? Is that the thing they're even worrying about? And are those the words they use? Because then you can really start to connect with a true need. And if you also start to think about, and then there's the lens of, okay, well, what is it that I or we as a brand value? For you, it was, what was your one was, how can I come in what your one was?
growth and significance, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I know for him, I guess, and his brand,
Our contribution.
your contribution.
Yeah.
So where does
Okay.
contribution, if there's significance and
Yes.
growth, you want to find the people who are interested in contribution in that space. So, for example, there are in triathletes, there's a lot of long distance runners. There's a really beautiful community that supports one another. It's a really supportive community, and there's some really quite small niche groups in there that a lot of what they do is about contribution. It's not running is their vehicle to contribute, but actually being on aid stations and helping one another out and advice. And there's a massive world of that when you really drill into it. So there's so it's how can you align those people who also have that value of contribution with yours within their need for significance and growth.
Absolutely. I mean, it's also quite interesting because that sort of community, because what we want to create is a tribe further down the line. So you have members who have Facebook groups where they interact and they can set up events on their own, kind of triathlons or kind of anything like that. It could be a charity event. And they also want to contribute all the way back to the farmers as well. So it's kind of create a community, a lifestyle community. So yeah, it's finding that person that wants something different from their brand. I hesitate to call it brand because it's just a business at this point. It's nothing but a business. But
well, no, don't no. I stand. It's a brand. This is something you're creating. It's a brand, and you're going to attract people. You're going to be the sunflower that's going to attract people, the right people who really want what you have.
Yeah.
And I can see when I've got a friend who was my coach for the Uganda Marathon. He hosts running events, or he helps people in different communities run. So he's doing one and around the world. I could see, for example, you kind of working with running in those areas where they're harvesting the coffee, for example. I mean, there's kind of some synergies that could come out of it that fit really well.
Yeah, because it's kind of the thing, like, just to quickly, sorry, it's kind of the thing that it's the spirit of togetherness, because there's this African word which you've probably heard of, Ubuntu, and what that means is I am because you are. So we're all interlinked. At some point, we all kind of connect. So that could be through products. It could be through kind of coming together in some form or another. So it's kind of that the whole world is one big family, kind of like the Tony Robbins things, right? So that's what we want to create through coffee. And what you just say there, Kevin, is quite good, because it's about that. It's about knowing all the way down to the farmer who that, and so when we talk about different regions, we're kind of educating about, did you know that this region does this and that, and they're good at this, and kind of something as small as like that. I mean, these are I don't know if you can see that these are our postcards. So what we're doing is that's Rwanda. So it's just got this side, so that's Rwanda in Africa. I don't know if you can see the city itself, but just to kind of give the other side of Africa, not the starving kind of dusty kind of So it's the educational piece and bringing people together and kind of through coffee, really. So how do you put that into a brand and get the right person? So that's always been the little bit of what would I say, challenge maybe per se.
When you just shared that, I could feel that. There was something really beautiful. There's something really beautiful in that. That is much more than just coffee.
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. And it's actually started that way. How do we give back? And then you kind of, what's the best way? And we love coffee, so actually, and most people are drinking, because here in the UK, you both appreciate that whenever you go out to a coffee shop, now and again you get a really good coffee and you think, oh, this is great, but then most of the time you get just average coffee. It's just there for the caffeine hit. And the truth is, when you go to Africa and you see the farmers, they get like 16 pence out of the £3.20 whatever price we pay for our coffee. They get 16 pence, and all of that goes to the middlemen. And that's such a shame. So you've got and a coffee bush takes 7 years for it from kind of to produce coffee. You can imagine the care and all that, and someone's feeding their family. So that kind of made us think, well, how do we contribute back, and educate people about coffee, at the same time educate them about Africa, and that kind of creates that buzz around, oh, this is interesting. let me try that, and then each month we take them around and they can try and find new favorites every time. And so that's where everyone's winning, the farmer and, the farming communities and the guys here. But we don't want just that. We want to kind of create, end goal is to also have a foundation. The foundation will be based on like kind of just building schools or building kind of healthcare, fresh water, all that stuff. Be kind of searching for those people who would also love that sort of thing, kind of like how Tony was doing it with the Underground Railroad. It's all great, but then we have to keep reminding ourselves, don't fall in love with the product, fall in love with the customer, find the right persona and go forward with it and bring them into that community, or we call it the Mara tribe. So it's been a challenge, but that's why we're here to learn and kind of maybe figure out how we can get that going.
I'm really moved by your sharing. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
likewise.
Thank you. I can't.
Hold up. Wait a minute. We should have some music now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, life will never be the same again. But yeah, it's you get quite passionate and you kind of feel like I have to keep reining myself back in and kind of but the thing is, and that's the challenge, I guess, for all of us, isn't it? It's kind of, you have all of this, as people that have been to Tony Robbins get it. They get it straight away, and they understand because they're on the same kind of brainwave wavelength. And it's hard you do it to the man on the street, where you can't tell them that, but they just happen to hit your website or something like that, So it's kind of knowing that niche, the persona, the right customer, which I think is what the person I've explained today, the person that doesn't buy their coffee from, kind of just the local corner shop. You don't get an instant coffee. They like to, that sort of thing, make, just get the grounds and do it themselves. It's an experience. So yeah, someone said to me actually on one of the breakout sessions, they said, it was quite funny, there's this American lady and she said, yeah, what you need to do is you need to go for that angle where it's all about kind of the emotion, because no one drinks coffee because they're thirsty. I thought that's very good. No one drinks coffee because they're thirsty. So
that's true.
It makes a lot of sense. Why would we just drink coffee just to get caffeine hit? Because you want to drink it and savor it. It's not like you're drinking tea to warm you up. It's a different drink, right? So yeah. I could talk about it forever.
Well, and also, I mean, you've actually got quite a specific niche already. Someone who is going to. Is this someone who is this coffee you buy out, or is this to buy it to you consume at home?
To consume at home. Yeah. So they'll be like they come in these bags, sort of like 250 grams. So and then either it's pre-ground or they grind it at home. So it could be a whole bean or pre-ground already, and they can just put in a cafetiere, espresso machine, whatever way they take it.
Because I guess anyone that grinds their coffees is a very niche sort of person that wants to take that time over something. That's quite a different person. That's already a specific niche in it. Over someone the more instant. And almost it could be that's almost could be a differentiation of two different personas.
It is, yeah, absolutely, yeah, exactly. I mean, I had like two on the wall here. It's a male and female, and they're both very similar, both kind of athletic and that sort of thing. But they have families and career focused, etc. But then you think about it, it's someone that wants to sit down on a Saturday morning with a nice cup of coffee and savor it, and take a moment of stillness. And that person, that sort of person, the person that just knocks it back to get caffeine hits, and they wouldn't say that.
Just mute Janie. There we go.
Awesome. Yeah, so yeah, rather than the person that just kind of hits it back, it's almost like when people drink wine versus the beer drinker, that's kind of just kind of take shots. Someone that takes shots, it's kind of slightly different. So ideally, someone that wants more from their coffee, if you like.
Okay, so Well, we're well over time now, and that's as far as I wanted to get to for today. I mean, and the obviously, so as I said, this mural, I'll put the link on the event page as well, just so it's available. It's free for you to play with as much as you want to. If you want to get someone else, that link, anyone can get in on that link. So if you have other people in your team that you want to kind of co-create one with and go through that same process with, then feel free to do that, or also add in some details. I mean, you might want to look back at some of the ones, if you want to kind of take it further, look back at some of those examples higher up and actually write up this story as a persona, if that's useful for you in your business. I mean, often I only tend to have one or two. You normally have a primary persona, maybe 2 or 3 other ones. So I wouldn't go crazy creating hundreds of personas. It's not, you're just gonna, and really often I come back to having one, because that's generally all you can keep in your head, with a few other testing ones for a few different scenarios, perhaps. But yeah, use this as you see fit. So next week we'll go into empathy. So if you do any research between then and now, and just start to get a sense of kind of things that person is saying and the words they use, then yeah, see if you can hang out with them for a week, or at least in your head, I guess, just muse a little bit.
Okay.
Are you still with us, Jay? Oh yeah, so I thought you'd frozen, Jenny. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. That's really cool. This is real food for thought. I'm glad I made the effort.
Good.
Thanks so much, Kevin, for organizing it. It's a what's surprised me. It's like where you normally create a persona and you do 2 or 3 things, but we kind of went to much further to make you think even deeper and kind of thinking you can make you even question some of the previous steps. So that was really good, quite eye-opening.
Not normally.
Yeah, it's way deeper than I expected. And then you get into it, and then you have other ideas and other things, and it all just develops more connections and possibilities of how you could then hone in on touching this person.
Yeah. And this is all made up, it's all fictional, but it's giving you access to ask some different questions, ultimately, is what you want.
Yeah.
And to test some things out in the real world. So that's really, so if it's doing that, then we're on a good path.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Amazing.
Right. Well, so will you both be up? You both be here for next week?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. The Zoom link will be the same Zoom link. I'll put it on it's already on the invite for next week. So I'll post out the mural link as well on there, just so you've got that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Cool, Neil.
Okay. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, lovely to meet you.
And
thank you for your commitment. You've really always made sure you've got real integrity in the way you kind of commit to things and keep in contact. I really appreciated that. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. Have a good evening, guys.
Good evening, all.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.